Hi everyone, my name's Courtney. I write under the pen names Lyra Parish. I'm one half of the USA Today bestselling duo Kennedy Fox, and today we're going to be discussing realistic expectations and goals when it comes to NaNoWriMo. This is a part of Project Authortube, which was created by Tamara Woods. She invited me to take part in it and I said absolutely yes. It's essentially a collaboration project where 12 to 13 authors get together and get you all jazzed up for NaNoWriMo. This is kind of like a Preptober thing, and there's going to be different videos and all of that. So I will link Tamara's channel down below. If you're not subscribed to her, then go do that right now and then come back to this video. If you're new to my channel, I quit my job effective March 1st of 2020. So I was building my writing career while I was working a full-time job. All the hard work that I put into it paid off and now I get to live the dream. But for the majority of my writing life, I was also working 40 to 60 hours a week at a top 10 Fortune 500 company. I was an accountant, a real accountant. Not the kind of accountant you find on TikTok. During that time of working corporate, I learned a lot of different things about myself, including strengths and weaknesses. I feel like most people have a full-time job while they are writing, so I've got some insight when it comes to goals and setting the expectation for NaNoWriMo. If you are a new writer and you're not sure what NaNoWriMo is, it's essentially a nonprofit organization that donates funds to literacy programs. It's a competition where you are trying to write 50,000 words in 30 days. It's worldwide. There are so many people who join in. It's a super exciting time. Like, it always makes me very, very just like all that energy and like community and people come together, and it brings back a really good time in my life. I've done NaNoWriMo before and I did a video where I talked about how it changed my life. If you want to watch that video, I will post a link right up here for you in the cards. It gave me the self-confidence that I needed to know that I could start and finish a project. Before doing NaNoWriMo, I would start books and never finish them. As soon as it got hard or I got stuck with my plot, I would just start over from the beginning or start something else. I was in this vicious cycle that a lot of new authors experience, which is shiny object syndrome, where you just have all these ideas at once and you just want to write all these different books. But when you do that, you don't actually finish one to publish. So then you just have, if your Google Drive is like mine, you'll have like 35 different projects started and nothing is really complete. NaNoWriMo changed that for me. And so I always tell people, if you've wanted to write a book and you just couldn't finish, then try NaNoWriMo, because there's so much community support and that's what I love about it. Just to be completely honest, the only time that I have ever won NaNoWriMo, which is writing the 50,000 words in 30 days, was November of 2011. I've never been able to do it again, and there are reasons for that. I won't get into the whole conversation of quality over quantity. There's enough haters online who talk about NaNoWriMo and how it's just terrible, but I personally don't feel that way about it. I think it's a good challenge. I don't think that people should go and just publish what they write during Nano. I think those books need a lot of work because you are writing so fast, but I don't think that books that are written during Nano is just total trash. I think the point of Nano is to build a foundation of a story, not to write it and then immediately self-publish it afterward. But that's my opinion. There are others who will disagree with me, and that's fine. That's why we're here, to share our thoughts and feelings. But since I did have a full-time job up until this November, each time I tried to do NaNoWriMo, I found it a little difficult because it seems like it's going to be extremely easy. Oh, I'm just going to write 1,667 words per day, and that's going to equal my 50,000 words. If you live in the US and you celebrate Thanksgiving, you've already got that one day just completely just marked off your list. It's not gonna happen. So you have 29 days. If for some reason you don't win NaNoWriMo and you don't write 50,000 words, it doesn't mean that you are a loser. It doesn't mean that other people who finished the goal is any better than you. It doesn't mean that you're never gonna be a successful author. Like, you know, I am very competitive. Like, if I put it in my head that I'm gonna do something and then I actually don't accomplish it, I will beat myself up. And so it's essentially like kind of setting myself up for failure if I already know beforehand that I'm probably not gonna do it. I think that sometimes we all get worked up and, oh, we have to have this word count, we have to make this goal. So and so wrote double that, I should be able to do that too. Everybody's situations are a little different and everyone has a different amount of time that they can spend on their work. And so my goal is for us to sit down with a calendar and the iPad. We're gonna work through the schedules, because while it's easy to say, oh, I just need to write you know, whatever the word count is. It doesn't always work like that. It's important to be realistic with your time and your expectations and set yourself up for success and have a plan going into NaNoWriMo instead of just being like, oh, well, I'm just gonna write this amount of words. It doesn't always happen. You may have to work overtime at your job. That was my case. And there may be days where you know that you're not gonna write. And so we are going to do some real life word count goal setting, and I hope that this is helpful. I hope that in the future, if you need to write X amount of words, you will sit down with your calendar and really plan it out. And I think that's one of the reasons why I was so successful when I was working and writing, because I had a plan and I had a word count goal, which if you watch my last video, I would switch that to actual chapter goals because word counts just kind of freak me out a little bit. For NaNoWriMo, that's what we're dealing with. It's all about the word count and it's all about the days. And so you are working against yourself and the clock. It's doable with a full-time job. It's just a little bit more difficult. Okay, so we're gonna go ahead and pull up the calendar and we're gonna go through together. Things are a little different for me now because I'm a full-time author, so I have more time than most people have to get books written. So we're gonna go back in time, and this is how I used to do my schedule when I worked. And so for me, I knew that on Thanksgiving I was out of pocket because we ate with family. The day before I was out of pocket because we always fry the turkey. We're Texan, we love the fried turkeys, and so me and my husband are always prepping the day before. And then on the weekend of Thanksgiving, we typically go camping. So automatically I've got 5 days that are out of pocket, which puts me now down to 25 days to get 50,000 words written. Another thing that I knew was on Mondays, I was probably not going to get as many words as usual. And that's because on Mondays I had meetings, and so I would be drained from just sitting in meetings and just doing all sorts of different things. It was just a bad day for me. I was trying to recover from the weekend, from staying up too late. I knew that I could probably write 500 words, and that's just the bare minimum. And that's what we'll be talking about here is bare minimums. So every Monday, my goal is to write 500 words. Tuesday, Wednesdays, and Thursdays, because I would be working the first 10 business days of the month. So if you look at this calendar, basically through the 13th, I knew that I would essentially be at the day job till 6:30, 7 o'clock. So on the first few days of the month, I would say realistically, I could probably write 1,000 words. On Friday, because I would have Saturday off the next day, I could write 2,000 words. If you know that you cannot write 2,000 words after you work all day and you come home because you're exhausted and maybe you have kids, then don't put that word count there. So make sure that you're writing on yours what you realistically could write. Next up, after close, probably write 1,500 words on Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday, and probably 1,500 words here as well. During the week of the entire month of November, I can write 20,500 words, which means that I still have to write 29,500 words to make goal. And if I'm looking at this, I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 weekend days that I can write. Every Saturday and Sunday, I have to write 4,214 words. That's a lot. I'm not gonna lie. That's kind of pushing it because I never really know what's gonna happen on the weekends. I could wake up feeling terrible. I could be super busy. There could be like a family emergency. Like that to me makes me kind of pause and go, I could, if everything is exactly how it is right now and with my life, I know that that is probably not realistic. When I was working, I used my lunch breaks to my advantage, and I would go out into my car, I would grab my laptop. I talked about this in my last video of my schedule when I had a full-time job. I'll put the link right up here for you if you're interested in that. If I'm trying to push and make this goal, I would commit to writing at least 200 words during my lunch break every day that I was at work. And if you look at that, 18 work days, 200 words. Now I need to write 25,900 to goal. And that's putting 200 words on each day for lunch. And that's doable. There were times when I would get like little 15-minute breaks and I would walk off from my desk. And I got really good at typing and walking. So if I came up with an idea and I was like in a meeting waiting for it to start or whatever the case was, and I thought of a few sentences that could go into where I was previously writing, I would open my notepad and just start typing it out. And so 200 words to me is realistic. That means I have 25,900 words left to write, and that gives me 7 weekend days. So that gives me 3,700 words that I have to write every weekend day to make a goal. And 3,700, that's much easier than over 4,000. I feel like I could write 1,500 in the morning and then do the rest at night, no problem. I know that the 1666 that Nano says that we have to write every single day to make it, in a perfect world, yeah, that's great. But I knew my schedule and I knew how I felt on Mondays, knew how my job made me feel. I knew when I could and couldn't write during my lunch break, and it just took a lot of planning. This right here is exactly how I was able to complete so many books. I do have a co-writer, so I wrote half the amount of words for a full-length book, but then again, we've had books that were 130,000 words. That's 75,000 words that I wrote and 75,000 words that she wrote. It just kind of depends on what book we were working on. All the books up until March of 2020, I wrote with a full-time job, and it wasn't super easy. But if you plan it out and you say, okay, I'm determined to hit this word count goal this day, if you stay true to yourself and to your goals, then you will be able to make that 50,000 words. What I would like to encourage you to do is to sit down, look at your calendar, be realistic, mark off days where you know you're going to be out of pocket. You might have a birthday, you might have another family event, there might be a holiday. There may be days where you're like, I need to take a day off and I need to not work at all. If I got any extra words throughout the week, so you know, if I said on Mondays I could only write 500 words, but I really somehow killed it and got 1,500 words, I would still keep the same goal for the next day. When I was finished with my project, if I finished a few days early, I would take those days off to relax and to not write, or to read over what I had written at the beginning, or to do other things like marketing or whatever the case was. I just think that when you make the plan, it makes it easier for you to go forward and accomplish that goal. I hope you write this out and you look at it with like an analytical mindset and you kind of like see it actually on paper compared to your schedule, that it will help you to adjust and for you to stay on target. If you just say, yeah, I'm gonna write the 1,600 words every day, if you take that one day off, you're behind. And then you take another day off, you're behind. And then the next thing you know, you've just completely snowballed. You're now 20,000 words behind and you're never gonna be able to catch up. So you have to set your goals and you have to stick with it, and I have zero doubt that you will be able to go forth and conquer when it comes to NaNoWriMo. Also remember that NaNoWriMo, there's a lot of people who do it and they just completely burn themselves out. If you need to take that day off, work the day into your schedule. If you know every other Sunday you're gonna take off, work it into your schedule and adjust your word count goals for the other days to make it work for you. Because pushing yourself to the limit every single day, halfway through the month, you're gonna be like, okay, I'm done. I've pushed so hard for 14 days. Like I can't go anymore. Especially when you're new, it's a lot harder to accomplish that. Be kind to yourself. Find that community aspect in NaNoWriMo. There's gonna be tons of people on YouTube doing it. If you're not in my Write 10K in a Day group, I would like to encourage you to come and join. If you write 10,000 words in a day, you get a sticker for NaNoWriMo. We're doing a special 50K in a month sticker. And so there's just a lot of like different things that I have planned for that group, and it's gonna be a lot of fun. But I hope that you found this helpful. If you have any questions, as always, please leave them below. If you have questions related to self-publishing, I've got a form down below that you can fill out. I'm doing a Monday Q&A. I'm sure you have seen it, and I'm answering all of your burning questions, and I've been having a really good time with that. So I really appreciate y'all being here. I hope you'll have an amazing, incredible week. You accomplish all your goals and you write all the words, and I'll see you again in my next video. Bye guys.